I'm very glad to be here. I'm a pianist, I'm a composer, I'm an educator. I've been with Humanities Washington for 4 years. The other shows that I've presented have been called Dancing to the Beat of a Different Drummer, which is about my time doing research as a composer in Ghana, and also Fascinating Rhythms of North and South America. I love rhythm, and I find it magical and mysterious. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to welcome some of you to come upstage with me and find out a little bit how composers play with rhythm. This presentation today is an interactive one. It is not a concert. It is not a lecture. It is a musical hybrid, a kind of a smorgasbord. And if you don't know what hit you, then I'm doing a good job. Some of you may enjoy the stories, the quotes that I will relate. Some of you may just enjoy hearing the piano. Some of you may actually enjoy the parts that we do together. And whatever you take from this afternoon will be something that I'm very grateful and happy to share with you about music and the creative process and the things that I love. We're looking at some terminology, because music is about information, and we have something called rhythm, which is about time, and we have something called pulse or meter, which is a regular beat, like a heartbeat. And in the ways that we write music in Western society, and your name, sir?
Doug.
Doug is the top banana. He's the alpha dog. He's one. And I'd like you to clap. Follow me. Keep it up.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
Okay, so now I'm gonna start playing. When you hear me playing, you're gonna start the clapping, and you'll know what to do. Are you ready? Perfect. So that was a meter of 4. You guys are fantastic. 4 beats in a measure and lots of music. More music is written with either 2 or 4 than any other music around. But I'm going to make it a little bit harder. I'm going to add something called syncopation, which is an unexpected accent. Okay, so first the clappers have to get on hand. This is a kind of a salsa. If you're having trouble, I'm doing a good job, because when we get south of the border, things get harder. They get a little bit more mysterious because it's not so regular. There are all these accents. So with my left hand, I'm going to add in something that's going to make it much easier for you. Yeah, and clap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So, welcome to the world of syncopation and some of the greatest music. So much music is written just with the concept of rhythm, but then when you think of the other things that we have, like pitch and harmony and texture, and then we have drama, and then we have lyrics. The kinds of compositional choices are amazing. Johann Sebastian Bach. Bach, who was asked how he composed so well, is said to have responded, "I just had to work hard. Anyone who works just as hard will get just as far." In response to compliments on his organ playing, a contemporary quoted him as saying, "There's nothing remarkable about it. All one has to do is hit the right notes at the right time, and the instrument plays itself." Let me play just a little bit of 2 Bach fragments to give you an idea about his thinking. The first one takes just very simple chords, like you could play on a guitar, but actually turns them into melodies. And the second one is actually a wonderful example of that thing called counterpoint, which is that two voices are independent. My right hand speaks, my left hand speaks, and somehow they come together magically to make an even better universe of sound. I think you'll recognize both these pieces. Try some chords like this. Could be rock and roll if it's kind of a Billy Joel feel. Sorry about that, Bach, but Bach wouldn't have minded. But this is what he did. Simple chords, but genius to serve them up like this. Etc. And what about counterpoint? Well, here's my right hand. Here's my left hand. Sounds a little bit same, a little bit different, but how about a dialogue? Masterful. Imagine writing thousands of pieces with that as a concept of actually independent voices. What I'm going to do with your permission is actually, I thought I'd play a piece of mine and ask you perhaps to give me what you think might be the title. What do you think, what might have motivated me to write it? Just that. And then I'll have a few conclusions from the presentation, and then we'll have a little time for a few more questions. So I'm not telling you the title. You can tell me that. The change, yeah. You know, it's a very interesting thing that that what you are observing is the aspect of change in the piece and transformations. And I guess I did see it as a story when I was telling this story, but I was seeing all those things like linked. And this piece of mine, which I'll tell you the title of, has been played by a lot of people and has been recorded by different people and it's gotten some reviews. And the only negative thing that someone said once was that, gee, I wish it didn't change so much. Like, why didn't she just pick one thing and stick to it? Because she knows how to do that, so why didn't she do that this time? So that's interesting. Well, this piece was written, it's called Cry of the Mothers. And it actually is about, it's literally, you know, sometimes music is, we call it programmatic music, which is music that attempts to tell a story that is actually based on something. And that concept of using music as a storytelling narrative was very, very popular in the 19th century. Most noteworthy was someone like Hector Berlioz in the Symphonie Fantastique, which attempts to tell a story of these macabre characters and terrible things that happen to them, march to the gallows, etc. So the story that I was telling was also very terrible, but unfortunately very true. And it was about the mothers of the disappeared in Argentina, in a place called the Plaza de Mayo. And many of these young men who were in disagreement with the government just disappeared, never to be heard from or seen from henceforth. What I'd like to do before we take any questions, if there is time, is just to read you two quotes that I think are very beautiful and very profound. The first is by Duke Ellington. Every man prays in his own language. So, and second one, it's one of my favorite poets, E.E. Cummings. I don't know if you know his writing, but it's, nobody can be alive for you, nor can you be alive for anybody else. Toms can be Dicks, and Dicks can be Harrys, but none of them can ever be you. There's the artist's responsibility and the most awful responsibility on this earth. So I leave you formally with that thought, if nothing else, to make friends with being yourself. Thanks.